Were you, or were you not, on a gay cruise?
No, you're 120% dick pic.
Everybody that age, they're sperminator.
Yeah.
We don't care about anything else. We're a walking hard on looking for a hole.
That's. I have to say you're right on that one. Oh, my God.
A stiff breeze comes through the room and you return the favor.
Got her in. Oh. Somewhere on the outside of this building, there is a hole where squirrels come in.
Better than a hole where dicks come in.
Yeah, better than that.
Going down the stairs to wash the laundry. What the hell? Shh. Pizza. Stop! Stop it now! I order you to stop! I'm still touching myself.
Yeah!
All young bitches want to do is pop pills, smoke weed, get drunk, lay around, suck dick, eat hot Cheetos, charge they phone, get a sew and weave, twerk, be bisexual, eat McDonald's, wash they pussy in the sink, lie, take selfies, and talk shit through Wi-Fi because they phone never on.
I think washing they pussy in the sink is my favorite part. The Vietnamese trade in dongs. Figuratively and literally, I'm sure.
Oh, my God, that's hilarious.
I did decide to look it up. 500,000 dongs is a good night for Pop's ex.
Like most women, he's an emotional thinker.
Good God.
I mean, that's part of the problem we're having now in our society is we have a bunch of emotional thinkers that want the world to, to fall in line with their emotions. That's not... look, reality doesn't give a shit about emotions.
It's my lived truth. Fuck your lived truth.
No, it's not. It's your perspective.
Kiss my ass.
Literally like, hey, Sergeant Pop, you got to turn your bear suit. I'm like, over my dead body. No. Just give me a statement of charges. Yeah. You're never getting this back. Yeah. You can suck it.
I'm going to wear this with my Russian coat.
you will bury me in this. Hey! Why you got to fucking be like that, man?
Because I'm an asshole, and I learned from the best. I'm sitting across from him, and I'm pointing at you with all four fingers.
All right, first of all, the Russian jacket is World War II surplus.
I'll send you a picture of it, Sarge.
Yeah, okay.
I got you standing wearing it with holding two giant buckets like you just collected all the chum from behind the dump dumpster at the bar, and you're going to go home and make ice cream out of it.
What's up, savages? Terrence Pop here with another episode of Grunt Speak that actually is live from the Lair. All right. Now, if you've looked at the title card, we're going to be talking about possible scenarios for a nuclear warhead exchange. Let's face it, there are forces out there that want to see a mass depopulation of this ball of mud slinging through space. I mean, they put up the Georgia Guidestones. We just had the whole poke and smoke craziness. I'm looking at news stories that there's 100 million people in this country alone that have some type of heart damage from said medication that was tested on 8 rats or mice. I'm sorry. So it is what it is. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about China, Taiwan, Israel, and their craziness, India, Pakistan, and of course, Russia. And we do have the nuclear simulation map. So we will see how many people get smoked immediately and how many will wither and die from radiation and how many get incinerated from the blast wave with the them testing thermal dynamics, shall we say. All right, so I got Battle Dwarf in the house, and we have a guest coming on in about a half an hour, and we got to take care of some housekeeping. Excuse me. Because I did go to the post office. God,
you all right over there? You gonna die?
I'm sneezy.
You gonna fucking die on us?
No, I'm good.
Not on the air.
Not on the air.
Not on the air. Then you really do have to fill out the paperwork and everything. I can't just take you out back with a fucking shovel.
No, man. When somebody dies, you got to basically zero out a small forest.
Yeah.
Because that's how many trees you have to kill to make the paper.
We laugh about that, but that's basically true. It's a lot of paperwork. Pop guts the coof.
No, I don't got the coof. I just got a little sniffles. No.
You'll be all right. We're going to have a guest on, Lieutenant Colonel Bruce Johnson of the Round Table set is going to be with us. He is currently in the Chow Hall, as I understand it.
Yes.
But he's part of Colonel Murray's crew, and he's going to pitch in. He's a pilot. He'll have plenty to say about a lot of this stuff. So that'll be good to go. But we do have an extensive. Where do we start? Do we start with this?
The Christmas cards first.
You want to do the Christmas cards first?
Yeah, those will go quick.
Okay. Set the book aside.
Got a couple books here.
We're going to get to the books. This is good stuff. This is all good stuff. We've got Mike from Indiana sends us, for unto you is born this day a Savior, which is Christ. Nice. Wish all you and all the crew a happy Thanksgiving, a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year from Mike in Indiana.
Yeah, thanks, we got Happy Zombie Jesus Vaginal Turd Day to you.
Play nice. Play nice.
Listen, man.
There are those of us who take some of this seriously.
With all of the evil that's going on this earth, making jokes about stuff like that is probably
that's fair nice.
At the very, very bottom of the list.
Tom from Iowa.
I
think he's making a dwarf joke here. I'm not entirely sure, but
could be.
It's possible that there's dwarf joke happening there.
It's a gnome.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Suzanne from another one from Indiana. Yeah. Mary,
she's in the chat and she actually donates to the channel a lot. That's Susie McCarley.
Merry New Year and a Happy Christmas. Yeah, that's it. Suze. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll add these to the wall. Got to get the Pop Christmas card wall of shame going. Let's see here. This is actually a letter, and this one is from Rural Man Life Entertainment Limited in Nevada.
Mm-hmm. And we're probably going to have him on as a guest on the show a couple times next year.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, we're gonna try a couple of format change-ups next year too, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
We don't have all those set up yet, but
I'm working on the props now.
We're working on it.
On a new character called Bullshito.
Yeah. No, yeah. You've mentioned that a couple of times.
Yeah. I got him his costume and everything.
The return of the whiteboard.
Yes. Actually, I want to set up a laptop and a camera upstairs. So I leave this station, go upstairs, and then do a little comedy set in front of the whiteboard and give you some of my crazy explanations.
Yeah.
In real time.
There you go. Let's see here. Thank you for your order. He has personalized canvas. What is this here? What are we looking at? Rural Man Life.
Oh, I think those are gifts that are coming our way.
I see.
Yes.
We're
getting is it a briefcase or is that a purse?
I don't.
Because
it appears to be a just a go bag. I had a go bag when I worked for the Colonel. I had to have when I was on staff.
Because, if it's a purse, you're going to get a homo suspicion point.
Right.
Briefcase is half of
Right.
a homo suspicion point.
If you put some patches on it and it's got at least some of the canvas, the old school, and then it's not.
Well, you can waive the homo suspicion point if you carry a knife or gun in there.
Right.
Okay.
Or a colonel's laptop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it secret?
What?
Is it have a clearance level?
That one wasn't. That particular one was not.
I don't know if I can waive it. If
I had a hard box for that though.
I don't know if I can waive it without a clearance level. I don't know. I have to think about
it. A special thanks and gift from your work saving the lives of men in our society. Contemplating suicide is the only way to solve a temporary problem by a permanent solution which destroys lives and families in the process. Thanks for having this channel. And here's a little donation from Mountain Man.
Yeah, he said not to disclose the amount.
I saw that and disclose not amounted. Something about cookies coming this way. Oh, good. More fat pills. Yay.
Yay.
Let's see here. What else have we? Oh, go back in the envelope. Are you good for your home? This is Violence, Lies, and Intimidation, a history of the Democrat Party. Big surprise there.
They did set up the KKK.
There's a lot of moving pieces there that maybe we'll go through some night. I've been reading a lot of the history around a lot of that stuff, and it's all pretty damn ugly.
Yes.
Down to getting an announcer in 1992 during the Clinton elections to turn the Republicans into the red party and the Democrats into the blue party. Because when we were young, do you remember what we used to say?
No, I don't remember.
Better dead than red.
Yeah. That was a commie thing.
The Reds were the commies.
Yeah.
1992. It was
what a
Dan Rather or one of those guys. He started calling Republican states red states on the air, and it stuck.
What a mind screw.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even know that.
Yep.
All right.
A lot of people don't know that one. I'm a subscriber and longtime listener. I would like you to have a copy of my latest book. I spent much of the last year researching the history of the Democratic Party. What I found was worse than I expected. Told you so.
Shocked.
I report my findings and conclusions of the book, Violence, Lies, and Intimidation, a History of the Democrat Party. The Democratic Party is not the friend of the common man and never has been. That's because they're Bolsheviks. You're welcome.
Drink.
As biographer Marvin Myers writes in the Jackson Persuasion, these were sharp-eyed, sharp-nosed businessmen. Dr. Robert Remini refers to Jacksonian rhetoric about democracy and the rights of the people as claptrap. It's a highly used word, claptrap. I like that word a lot.
That's old school.
It is old school. Andrew Jackson owned 150 African slaves and was the mastermind behind the Cherokee Trail of Tears. The Democrat Party grew out of resistance to President John Quincy Adams' plan to begin building infrastructure for the young nation. However, Jackson, Martin Van Buren, and John C. Calhoun were appalled. Although Calhoun was Adams' vice president, he met quietly with Van Buren to plot against the president's plan. If this threesome could unite the slave-owning planters of the South with the plain Republicans of the North behind Jackson's run for the presidency, they could call on all those old divisions in different sections of the country to form a new political party. This grew into the Democratic Party we know today and planted the seeds for the Civil War. I demonstrate how 3 Democratic presidents, Andrew Jackson, Woodrow Wilson, and Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who was a scumbag, moved our country away from the principles of the Founding Fathers and toward the more
authoritarian.
I need coffee or something. Authoritarian society that we live in today. I report Mallory Millett's expose on her sister Kate's hatred for the American family and her desire to deconstruct Western civilization. I delve into the history of slavery, the existence of black slave owners in America and Africa. I've seen the slave pens in North Africa, okay? They're still there. They're still real. Blacks are selling the blacks into slavery, and the Arabs are the biggest buyers of them.
Yep.
And expose the lies of the 1619 Project and the modern race hustlers. The 1619 Project is such a sad little joke. My findings are supported by 174 references. You and I, sir, should have a long conversation. I have found my own stuff, but I have not written a book called Violence, Lies, and Intimidation, A History of the Democratic Party. You should go find a copy of this book and read it. Support each other. Buy a copy of this guy's book.
Know your enemy.
I'm going to read this.
Take it with you.
I'm going to read this. I'm taking this book from you.
Okay. Compare it to your notes.
You haven't been to the house in a little while.
I have not.
You have to come and see. I will grill things and I will show you books.
Dead flesh on a grill. You need to. We need that when we do our next paranormal pop. You got to show that picture of the ghosts by right.
On our property, yeah.
Yes.
It was the weirdest thing when we first moved into that house. The house was kind of like, don't know if we really want you here. But then we started to really take care of the house, and all of a sudden everything was like fine.
Yeah.
And we were having a bonfire with a couple of friends one night and just took a picture. Random picture, bonfire, isn't that nice? And in the picture, I swear to God, are two green figures standing behind the fire pit. And it's a woman in an older dress. Our house was built in 1860. With a man with his arm around her shoulder. I mean, like clear as day.
Nice.
We're like, oh, well, that's odd.
Well, that's good mojo.
It is good mojo. I like that.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. It was just surprising because we couldn't see them. But when we took the picture after, we were looking at the photo and we're like, what's this? And zoom in and we're like,
it's very common, actually.
how about that? Yeah.
So
this book, Haunted Alaska, Ghost Stories from the Far North, comes with a letter. Hey, Pop, I'm not sure if you've already read this book or not, but in case you haven't, I wanted to send you a copy. The author is from my hometown in Alaska, and he was also a family friend. I've been to many of the places mentioned in this book. In fact, the woman being interviewed in the story on page 24 is my aunt. Anywho, I thought you would enjoy these stories. Please take care of yourself. We need you around more than you might think. Peace, Solomon. Thanks, dude.
Actually, my health is pretty good.
Yeah.
I always have the sniffles in the winter. I mean, it is what it is.
Pussy.
I know.
What? Haunted Alaska, Ghost Stories from the Far North. I love stuff like this. I have a stack of these from Michigan. There are a lot of books like this from Michigan. We've got all kinds of fun ghost stories. My great uncles used to tell us when we go up to my Uncle Emil's cabin in the Upper Peninsula, we were on one peninsula called the Garden Peninsula, and across the bay you can see another one. And my great uncles would tell us stories about the werewolves that lived on the other peninsula. And if we went too far up the edge of the peninsula, we'd like fall into their territory. And if we didn't get back before dark,
they'd eat you.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. Oh, we were like 7, 8 years old going, that's so cool. We were pissing ourselves.
Yeah. It's getting dark, Steve. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Of course, everybody had to do the dare of go up there as far as you could before sun. Yeah. This one comes with an entire box, and I'm standing on my own cord, and I don't know why. And this one was from, I know it's from Texas. This is from Mike in Texas. And inside the box is a lunch bag.
A bag of
Born
lunch?
to be Wild. And in there is a stack of videos. This one labeled for Blake. Babylon 5 Ultimate Collection. Evil Dead Supercut by Sogo. And then what's under here? Trying to handle everything. And Babylon 5 series with subtitles. That one's Blake's. And then go away bag.
Yeah, don't unroll the t-shirt.
Don't unroll the t-shirt?
Well, okay, I'd unroll it.
This one's labeled for Pop.
Yeah.
Only have a couple of Christmas cards, you guys. There's hundreds of you out there. Send us more on Christmas cards. I want that chalkboard that sits behind you to be just absolutely covered in the damn things. It'll be funny. Come on. Pop, you got a collection of Babylon 5.
All right.
And the Evil Dead Supercut. That's actually, Bruce Campbell's from here. He went to University of Michigan. Yeah.
I don't know.
Bruce Campbell is from Michigan. Yep. True story.
What's it say? That's a good workout shirt.
I'm not old. I'm classy.
I like it.
You need to wear that one to boxing.
Yeah. Well, I don't box anymore. I just hit the bag.
Well, I mean, you teach boxing though.
Yes, I do. So I have one student who is amateur boxer.
Oh, look what my hands are doing. Must roll the t-shirt correctly. I didn't even think about it. I just started doing it. I'm like, t-shirt must be rolled.
And also on Sunday, I opened up the supporter stream to the general public, and I basically spent almost 2 hours just telling a bunch of Army stories in regards to inspections and the shenanigans that takes place prior to and during the inspections.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about that before the show.
Yeah, and it was, I think it was pretty good. We got a whole bunch of views. I think we're up to like 4,000 or 5,000 on Rumble, and maybe
one of our streams I was looking the other day got over 11,000 views right now, which is really cool, and we appreciate all of the viewers. That's freaking outstanding.
If we could just break out of the bubble,
yeah. So all we got to do is break out of the. You know what? I'm going to put this whole stack
put it back in the bag.
Actually, if I can stop, I keep stepping on my mic cord.
No. Just throw it in the box.
I'm going to throw it in the box.
There you go. Kick it to the rear.
It'll be fine.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, that's taken care of. So, where were we?
You want to talk about drones?
Do we want to start off with the drone thing?
Well, it is a big story in the media. Now, the rumors I've been getting from an actual individual who is in the know, saying they're either civilian or military drones. They know where they're launched from. They know where they're landing. So why they're doing it, I don't know. Maybe it's a psyop for the alien invasion. There's another story that they're out there looking for nuclear material.
I heard that one. I think that's a little crap, personally.
I really don't know how you actually can find nuclear material. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know the ins and outs of that. But that doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like a plausible story to me.
No.
It doesn't seem plausible.
No,
What is wrong with me tonight?
I have connections with a guy who actually does government contracting,
right?
In regards to drones, and he travels around and uses drones in various other countries, and I believe he does have a clearance of some type. So I don't know if he can actually come off a lot of that information, but he can send me to open sources, and then I could figure it out for myself.
Yeah,
which is pretty much all of the guys I still talk to. That's really all they do. If they're in the know and anything's classified.
Well, that's what we had to do the whole time. I was one of my worst moments when I got out is I saw something happen on the news, and I was still in Korea. I was like 3 days away from coming back to the States.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked up my phone and I called one of my buddies. I said, "Hey, what's going on with this?" And he's like, I can't talk to you about that, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, come on, man. It's me." He's like, "Yeah, I know, but
I know.
I wrote that damn plan." Sorry, man.
That's just the way it goes, man.
Yeah. It's hard. It's tough being cut out of that loop. It takes a while to adjust. It took me about 1.5 years to adjust to being completely cut out of that loop.
Well, there's always that feeling of invincibility because you have access to information that the normal people don't.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're cut out of that and you're like, wait a minute. Oh. Yeah. But I've gotten pretty good at I ask them a question and I get like a link to a story that's in the media, and then I have to figure it out for myself.
I am going to tell a story. I forget what year it was they got Saddam. Was that 5 or 6?
I don't remember. I have
no. It had to be 4.
Well, I have some 50. No, it wasn't 04. It was prior to that, I believe.
Or
because I actually have 50 cal slugs that were dug out of the walls where they whacked his sons.
Here's the thing. I was in the skiff at Huachuca when that went down.
Uh-huh.
and we were all clustered around the monitors and everything because we had access to those feeds to the guys who had the cameras and stuff like that. That the J-Stars in orbit there
That was 03, I think they got.
was feeding back to where we were at Huachuca. And yeah, we were actually watching the actual action, what cams were out there. 03, I went home on leave and I went to see Nate, Tessa's brother.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there with Nate and we're watching a game and eating some food and having a beer or two. And my phone rings. And it's one of my guys who's now in Iraq. And this is 03. And he says, 96 hours, watch the news. That is all. Click.
I got a call from a guy who was enlisted.
Yeah.
And we were friends. He was now a lieutenant or a captain who was in charge of the cordon around Saddam's sons.
The guy I'm talking about is the guy who found the little runner, the 8-year-old runner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
That guy I trained that guy like in 1999. And here it is, 2003. And then sure enough, 4 days later, news comes out, we got him. And it's Saddam being pulled out of the hole and everything. And I'm sitting there with Nate. Nate's like, well, how did your buddy? And my phone rings and Brian just goes, told you so. That's all. Click. And Nate's sitting there going, the fuck is going on? Why do you get phone calls like that?
Yeah. In July of 2003, they got him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember I got a call and they're like, I could hear in the background gunfire. Like, yeah, we got him. Yeah. I'm like, dude, you have better shit to do than call an old fucker like me.
Yeah.
Handle your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the look on Nate's face was hysterical.
And then I got a box with like 3 slugs of a 50 that they dug out of the walls.
Nice.
Mailed them to me. Badass.
Yeah.
You know you've done a good job with your subordinates, that when they move on and they leave you in the dust, they don't forget you and they send you trinkets. It was awesome.
I think it was second bat. Brian was doing the intel cell for, I think it was second bat. They flew a flag for him and then boxed it up and gave it to him when he left.
That's cool.
So they respected him. It was pretty cool.
All right, let's get on with this.
We're getting on with it. We went down a little rabbit hole there. Anyway, about dem drones. Uncovered files, says the Daily Mail, reveals secret operation at the center of drone invasion and why the White House can deny it. Because they deny everything, for one.
All right.
2, when you got a commercial site like this saying stuff like this, I'm automatically like, yeah.
So I'm suspect.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I'm absolutely fucking done with. I am sick and tired of our media machine running smoke screens for our government. It's not supposed to work like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yep.
And it just proves the point that all of our media has been bought and paid for. And that needs to come to a goddamn end. Because guess what? When you have a media that runs smoke screens to this level, you have, basically unrestrained corruption. And we're seeing that.
Yeah, it's exactly what we're seeing. It's exactly the kind of look. That kind of stuff was going on back as early as 2000, 2001. We ran a couple of ops in Northeast Asia. There was stuff going on there, and then something would come up on the news, and I can't even bring up some of them. One of them involved a firefight between the North and South Koreans in the North China Sea. But it would happen, and we would have guys on it, and then it would come up on the news, and we're like, it's all wrong. Everything there is, and our command would be like, just leave it alone.
Yep.
We're like, what's the point of what we're doing then?
I got you.
What's the point of what it was really, really frustrating. There were a couple of incidents with fiber optic cables that it would pop up on the news for like a second, and it's just gone. It's not there anymore. We're like,
yeah,
people might need to know this.
Yeah, I mean, I want to find out from. I just want to know what's going on. Is this like?
Yeah.
I've heard rumors of an Iranian mothership in international waters that send these drones in.
I heard a rumor there's a Chinese mothership. And yeah.
I mean, first of all, you need a pretty large drone to travel, like, was it 20 miles in international waters? Or 10
No. They didn't mean a drone. They meant a literal mothership.
Oh, really? Well, I know, but they picked it up on radar.
You don't know about the fishing trawlers?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Do you know about?
But they travel. They're in international waters, though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure. Is that 20
Dude,
miles offshore?
Since the cold, I believe it's 20 miles.
Yeah.
It's 20 nautical miles.
But what I'm trying to tell you is a drone
Mhm.
to go 20 miles plus and then have enough energy or fuel to loiter over a city for extended amount of time and then fly back. They would pick that up on radar.
To a mothership?
Yeah.
They're tracking these things.
Yeah, I know
okay?
they are.
I can tell you right now, we had the radar that could do that stuff, and we've got the satellites that could do that stuff. We've had them since a period in the previous century.
Mm-hmm.
There was stuff like the LASP, the low altitude surveillance platform. That was up for, I think they took the last ones down in the late 90s.
Mm.
But those are the ones that could read, those are the first ones that could read a license plate. So what they've got up there now, I mean, who knows?
I don't know. I don't even want to know.
But what I'm getting at is there's no way these drones are going back and forth from wherever they are that somebody at freaking National Reconnaissance Office or somewhere like that doesn't know where these things are.
Or they could be UFOs or UAPs, whatever.
Yeah.
They're UFOs. I'm old school like that.
Me too. That's UAP. What's the UAP?
I have no idea. They're trying to change the acronyms and stuff.
Unidentified aerial platform.
I have no idea.
Do yourself
maybe it's the wrong acronym. I just go with UFOs.
Yeah. Do myself a favor and take a dive into the deep end there with a millstone.
Yeah.
God, I hate that. So I'm just cords are getting in my way tonight. I'm having a night of being attacked by, it's a tentacle porn in Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the problem.
Yeah, we just saw that. Actually.
Official records show the Army has been developing and testing counterterrorism drones in New Jersey for years and claims of a government cover-up. A 2018 defense contract awarded $50 million to a private robotics company to develop a craft capable of 3D maps of urban areas for a counterweapons of mass destruction program. I'm going to nip this in the bud right away and say that has been going on for 20 years at least, at a minimum.
And listen,
that's been going on.
I don't know if I'm a fan of this. We should not be putting that kind of shit in the air over our civilian population.
I agree. It's inevitable. It's a matter of time before Bubba goes out in his yard after the second six-pack and sees the damn, and go, I'm sick of this shit.
But I mean, but they're not that low. I mean, with a shotgun,
he's going to shoot at it anyway.
I know, but here's the thing. I think it's going to be a matter of time before we have some civilians build their own drone capable of going up there and intercepting them and then bringing it down.
I guarantee
and
you
looking for themselves.
A couple of 16-year-old kids are working on that right now.
Yeah, all they got to do is drop a net on it. It's over.
Yeah. Guarantee you there are a couple of 16-year-old kids out there working on it somewhere. That sounds like our friend Colonel Bruce has. Yeah, there he is. He's going to remain in avatar form for the time being. But, Colonel?
Yes, sir.
Call me sir one more time.
So, are you still in the service? You retired?
I retired in 2016.
And what did you retire as?
Lieutenant Colonel.
All right, so you're one of those. Okay.
Yep, that's me. But
and
I was mostly a flight instructor.
Flight instructor. Nice. So, but you have flight time. What frames did you fly?
C-140. Well, military wise, C-141s, KC-135s, T-38s, T-37s, gliders at the Air Force Academy.
No.
And I wasn't in it. I didn't go there. And then pretty much every airliner I've flown.
One of my favorite stories in the world is the glider insertions during World War II behind the lines.
Oh, yeah.
When they dropped the airborne in one sector and the gliders went into the other. I've read that like 5 or 6 times when I found it.
Listen, man, you know when they cut those, they cut away from the actual C-47s.
Right.
Every swinging dick on that glider, everyone's asshole slammed shut.
We got a guy we can ask right here. What's it like? What's a military glider like? I've never been on one.
It's actually not that big a deal. I mean, initially you're like, okay, and then you watch everybody else doing it. You're like, well, if these 18-year-old kids can do it, I can figure it out. So it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But I actually knew a guy along the road in our glider flying that was a World War II glider pilot that did D-Day, and spoke to him. And this is going back about almost 20 years now when I last saw him. But he said, they had 50% losses in the gliders.
Jesus, that's why they quit doing it.
Wow. Yeah, 50%. And I understood once he told me how they did it. They had 3 gliders tied up to one C-47.
Holy bad ideas, Batman.
Wow.
And then they went and flew through clouds like that in the weather.
Was not good.
Which is, if you understand that, they had to maintain position, not crash into each other in the clouds, tied to a C-47. I honestly don't understand how any of them made it.
The great choo-choo of death in the sky.
That's not even cool, man.
I mean, and that's not even factoring like once they let go of the C-47s and went into land in Normandy. So serious. Yeah.
Do you know who General John Singlaub is?
No.
He was one of the Jedburghs. He was one of the American officers running the Jedburgh teams in occupied France. And I got
what were those teams? Were those like guys to receive the airborne and glider guys or something? Or?
Right. Those were the guys who gave all the information to put them on the ground.
Oh, wow.
During the invasion. And he's a legendary commando type guy. I got to meet him at a conference in, when was that? Jeez, oh, Pete's 2001. 2001.
Yeah.
And then you guys might know this. Somebody told me this. I heard this recently that a lot of the airborne guys that went out in D-Day, when they went out, their equipment bags that had their rifles in them separated from them on shoot deployment, and they ended up landing with no weapons, nothing.
Yeah, I heard that.
I got a question for you, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Since you hobnob with a bunch of pilots, did you ever have any of them talk about seeing any UFOs?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Never. That's never come up.
I was totally not shocked by your response whatsoever.
I saw UFOs a few days ago, actually.
Really?
Yes, honestly.
Are you still flying coffins for the civilian world?
Yeah, I'm an airline pilot on.
Okay, all right.
That's my professional job title.
Oh, okay.
I don't want you to lose your license or not be able to fly for telling us so. Because they used to really crack down.
What
on that
can
shit.
you tell us?
Well, first I'd say I don't think anything that we've been seeing in the Northeast has anything to do with UFOs, based on what I've seen yet.
We agree.
Yeah.
But with that caveat, I think that, and other guys in the roundtable, like Chuck, you've talked with Chuck before, Steve.
Sure.
Him and I both, and many other guys, we increasingly the last 3-4 years, we've been seeing more and more stuff that is not explainable with current technology happening in the sky or in space when we're flying, and especially over remote areas, like over the ocean is typically where it's most common.
Mm-hmm.
But excuse me, I don't know what to describe it as exactly, because everything we're seeing is a long ways away. We're not seeing little green men fly by and wave at us or anything. We're just seeing lights, things moving around in the sky that move in ways that, okay, nothing I know that exists can do this. And we're not talking about like Starlink. Starlink is freaky. When you see Starlink and you're flying around and you see a Starlink launch, it's pretty wild to see the Starlink satellites. But this is different than that. It looks different than that. And what we've been seeing is like anything from 1 to 4 objects, I guess, moving around in the sky. And what really, the first time I ever saw anything was probably 4 years ago. Saw one thing, and I'm looking at this. It was like 3:00 in the morning, just north of like Venezuela, over the Caribbean, heading north out of South America. And I'm like looking up and I see this star that gets a lot dimmer all of a sudden. Then it got brighter again. Then it got dimmer again. And then it got brighter again. And
That's right.
at first we were thinking, well, that's like a reflection off a satellite, something like that. You know, like it's turning and it's changing the sun's reflection, so it changes the amount of light coming off of it. But then that's 3-4 years ago. Since then, numerous, I mean, I know 5 or 6 other guys that have all seen this. I was recently in New Zealand talking to a Qantas guy, and he said the same thing. He's like, what do you think about all these things we're seeing in space? You know, and I was like, yeah, because we were talking about the New Jersey drone thing, and it came up. So it's a widespread phenomenon. And now we're seeing things where we'll see like 1 to 4 things. They'll move in independently in relationship to each other. They'll come and go. So like what we see is like, you know, it appears like they get bright, then they get dim. Sometimes it looks like they're flying like in a circular pattern, because like if you're flying in a circle, then, you know, as they fly away from you, the light would get dimmer. As they come closer to you, the light would get brighter. Well, we see a lot of that. But the thing that's odd is that, okay, when you look at satellites in space, so like you go out at night and sit in your hot tub or whatever, you can look at the stars and you'll see satellites all over the place that are tracking, and they're always constantly tracking, usually north to south, different flight paths, and you see them and they're clearly up in space. These things are not doing that. So that indicates to me that they're not in orbit. So they're not as high as orbit, because if they were to be as high as orbit, they would have to be moving in orbit to maintain their position relative to the Earth.
Well, if they're in orbit, well, first of all, if you're in orbit, you have to go in a straight line. You can't in orbit do circles and shit because you get pulled down by the gravity.
Yes, as far as you can't
what-
stop. As soon as you stop, then you'd
You're
start to fall. You know, so orbit requires motion, you know, to stay in orbit. But what we're seeing is stuff that's
what is
moving.
that altitude? What's a like, let's say a low Earth orbit?
Oh God,
Ballparky.
it's like 11, 15 miles, something like that.
I don't know. I was going to say 50 miles maybe, but if I'm wondering if we were talking about this our last flight, we were looking at them and I got videos of it, but it's really hard to video because I'm using an iPhone. It doesn't look that great. But what we've seen is, you know, they're moving around like almost like they could be aircraft in a way, but they're not in orbit. So that's telling me maybe they're 100,000, 200,000 feet, 300,000 feet. I don't know, but something that's short of orbit, but yet they appear that they're a long way away from us. And then the other thing
orbit's 100 miles.
Okay.
100 miles.
God damn, that's fucking.
I didn't think it was going to be. I was going to say 15 or 20, but
I just looked it up here. Low orbit altitude, 100 miles minimum.
And so,
wow, I was way off. Sorry, sir.
No worries. So, whatever it is beyond the technology that, you know, I'm aware of. And like Lieutenant Colonel Murray and I have talked about this. It's beyond what we know of. So it's a question: is it either advanced tech that's on Earth, like what we have, which I believe is the most likely answer? I believe it's probably some kind of Space Command thing that they've got advanced tech that can do things that we just can't imagine yet. And Murray,
the DARPA dorks.
Well, hang on. So basically, it's not schleprock technology that's we're all used to seeing.
It's something in advance of what we know. I mean, maybe it's, you know, maybe it's Top Gun and the Aurora thing that goes Mach 10, like in Top Gun 2. I don't know.
Sir, do you remember when they rolled out the stealth bomber?
Exactly.
I was like, holy shit. I didn't even know that was even possible.
I was at Homestead SAC, when the F-111 was revealed. And I was with the USO. It was not right before Desert One, so that had to be 91?
90, 91, yeah.
Somewhere in there. And we were all at Homestead SAC, and I had volunteered with the USO, and they put the tower on loudspeakers on the airfield so we could hear it, because this was the big reveal of the F-111.
Yeah.
And they're going to go, yeah, we've cleared the airspace. He's coming in. And the radio chatter's going on. And they're just, nobody's seen. What the fuck was that? And this black bat thing comes flying in low. And I mean, I'm a civilian at the time. I had no idea frame of reference, but it didn't look like that bird was more than 500 or 600 feet from that tower.
Yeah.
When it went by. So,
but just imagine the shit that they have that they haven't revealed.
Exactly. I
Exactly.
mean, I saw stuff and used stuff when we were doing operations overseas that still isn't out in the public.
Mhm.
Right.
For when
I
I was
remember.
intelligence.
What was that, sir?
I was just going to say, I remember being a second lieutenant and reading like Aviation Week magazine, you know, in the early 90s, and they were talking about Aurora, like the plane that they show in Top Gun 2 at the beginning where he goes Mach 10 or whatever. They were talking about that airplane existing back then.
Yeah.
And it still hasn't come public.
Well, they had
So-
the SR-71 was on the drawing board like right after World War fucking II, like in the
Wow.
early 50s.
I believe it.
This is me sitting here with my mouth shut, knowing things, not being able to say anything, and being very frustrated.
I got you.
There was stuff overseas. There was stuff at some of our overseas bases
I believe
that
it.
was pretty fucking interesting. It was
Yeah.
pretty fucking interesting. I will say that the U-2 is still operational. I can't say a great deal more than that, but the U-2 is still at least it was in 2004.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it is anymore, but it was still operational in 2004.
But I agree with the Lieutenant Colonel. I mean, we have a Space Force now, and you don't put a Space Force together without having
It's a valid
vehicles
point.
for it.
Supposedly they're handling the satellite infrastructure.
Yeah, bullshit.
I don't know. I mean, I can't get into those skiffs. I wish I could.
I got you.
So, sir, let's shift over to these Jersey drones
Okay.
that are going on, and it says a contract was given out by the Army's Armament Research Development (ARDEC), and where did it go? Retired CIA intelligence officer Rudy Rodolfi told DailyMail.com this FAA notice shows U.S. drone testing is happening in the area. It's a warning for others to stay out of those areas during those dates. While the nature of the testing isn't specified, it's most likely the testing of payloads related to reconnaissance. But Matt Sloan, founder of drone consulting firm AI Skyfire, told Daily Mail that the sightings could be a contractor developing those drones for DOD. Any thoughts on that? Do you know what's around New Jersey? I mean, I know Fort Dix, but
All right. Well, I mean, New Jersey's near New York, which is just like you can spit to DC from there.
thank you for that geography lesson.
All right. And we all know CI.
Yeah.
Those guys. And you got NASA,
Christians in Action,
NSA,
no such
CIA.
agency.
Listen, man.
NRO.
If you think those guys haven't developed crazy stuff, I mean, we have a DOD that hasn't passed an audit since 1999, and they're routinely losing trillions of goddamn dollars.
Of course they are.
And what do you think they're doing with that money? They could do anything, and we could have a whole space fleet we don't even fucking know about.
I don't know.
It's creepy. I'm just saying, it is creepy.
I don't do the flying things. That's Colonel Johnson here.
Yeah, I know.
Where'd he go?
Did he drop off?
Looks like he dropped off.
Oh, well, that happens. See if we can get him back on.
Oh, we'll see if he pops back on. I turned around and he's gone. I was like, what on earth just happened?
I mean,
anyway, the drone thing, I think, this is my personal opinion. I think the drone thing is a whole lot of gaslighting.
it wouldn't be the first time our government has done that.
Yeah. Let's see if he has.
All right, I'm going to do the announcement. All right, you know the drill. We've been demonetized beyond all rhyme and reason. We need donations to keep this thing afloat, and we are not getting ad revenue from YouTube, and they're clawing back money from. They're justifying that. They used to give us pretty decent ad revenue in the past, but they're clawing back the revenue because we're no longer compliant with their nebulous rules that they have on this platform.
It's really bad.
And unfortunately, YouTube, we get a lion's share of the revenue to keep this thing rolling from them. And it just is what it is. And so any little bit you can help us will go a long way. And just so you guys know, we're up to 554 lives saved. And we read that guy into the record. I believe that was, last week or 2 weeks ago. And you guys all had a hand in that. Because without your donations, we wouldn't be able to do this for a decade and a half. Chances are, right after I got off active duty, I would have packed it in because I just couldn't afford it anymore. And it just is what it is. And when I first started this whole thing off in 2013, I was stationed in New York State, and I had to drive back to see my kids twice a month, and I was getting creamed in gas, tolls, plus paying child support.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I had to go without food and give plasma and write off the mileage so I could afford to, keep doing this. And then we started making some serious ad revenue once we got to about 100,000 subscribers, and we got capped at 133. We can't seem to get to 134.
Yeah.
And we've watched in real time and take screenshots of all the fun and games that YouTube is playing with us. And it's serious business. And at some point, there's probably going to be a huge class action lawsuit. And I want to have all my ducks in a row and evidence lined up so we can join. Because there's a lot of guys out there who are hurting. And if you can just track the numbers of veterans who've committed suicide, it's like 44 a day. And if you do the math, by 2035 to 2037, we'll sacrifice more veterans than all of the people killed in action between 1901 and 1999. And they're not even counting just regular dudes out there committing suicide. Those numbers are fucking astronomical. And I cannot get in front of them to save their lives because YouTube has a boot on our neck. So any little bit you send in will help us by advertising, circumvent the algorithm. We have a commercial running locally on 6250 and channel 20. And I think they're going to pick it up again here in about a month. And I have a line on a comedy club that's opening up about 15 minutes away from the Lair. And I'll probably be doing some stand up there on a regular basis and do some live streams from there. So you can see the real deal and the bitter ugliness that takes place.
Just so you know, YouTube, if you are out there listening, one, you're hurting veterans. We're trying to save guys, and we've got a pretty good track record. And two, I'm former NSA, sweetheart. I'm tracking all of your crap and taking elaborate, detailed notes. And former NSA, plus I've been working in law for the last 17 years. So maybe just cut us a little slack and leave us the hell alone. We'd appreciate it. Thanks. You're a sweetheart.
Boom.
God.
But that's what's going on, man. Listen, I don't lie. I mean, I do lie, but I'm really terrible at it.
It's different. It's different. There's lying and then there's lying.
It's really true. So normally I don't try to deceive or lie because it just takes too much work and I have a terrible memory.
Speaking of UFOs, the Colonel is back. He
all right.
Apparently was grabbed by a UFO and got anally probed, but now he's fine. I had to. The opening was right there. I had to go with the cheap shot. It's an Army thing, Colonel. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Nobody's gonna die. Good God. So
he dropped off again.
Did he?
Yeah. It's got to be his internet.
It's got to be his internet. It's aliens. It's aliens. I'm going with aliens.
He's Wi-Fiing it or something.
I'm going with aliens.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Sure.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
Dad, I will. Shift F6. So, did that work?
What?
Oh, you have to do it when you're here. You can't just do it at random. I see. Never mind. Forbes. Mystery drones saga. Ohio Air Force Base sees more drone incursions. Updated. This part is my favorite here. We've got Stephen Pastis, Forbes staff, and then Siladitya Ray, Forbes staff. Siladitya Ray is a New Delhi-based Forbes News team reporter reporting on drone operations in New Jersey and Ohio. So this is the person who writes the AI stuff.
Yeah.
A group of federal agencies on Monday night said the weeks-long sightings of low-flying drone-like objects in the night skies of New Jersey and other nearby states are likely a mix of misidentified legal aircraft and stars that pose no threats. Even a U.S. Air Force Base reports repeated drone sightings. Wright Patterson Air Force Base spotted small unmanned aerial systems that ranged in sizes and configurations late Monday and Tuesday morning, although airspace was not affected by the incursions, a statement shared by Bob Perdaman, the base's chief of public affairs. Look, I'm going to delve all the way back to World War II again, but we're going to North Africa and Colonel David Sterling. Ring any bells?
No.
Founder of the SAS.
Oh, yeah.
And this story rings true through the ages. He got tired of the bureaucracy and their battle maps, hemming and hawing and wondering about losses and what their losses might be in this and never doing anything.
I watched that show. He just said, fuck it, and
while
set it up.
Tobruk was being bombed into oblivion. If they lost Tobruk, they lost the Suez Canal. Well, Sterling goes, fuck it. And you watched that, the series?
Yeah.
It's good. And just went to fucking town on them. But that's what's happening with these drones and the military. I guarantee you, bureaucratic officers are sitting there with their thumb firmly packed into their fourth point of contact, just absolutely going, oh, well, we don't want the risk mitigation factor of the fight and my budget and my next promotion. And I guarantee you that's what's happening with that stuff. In a joint statement, the Department of Homeland Security, there's an oxymoron, FBI, FAA, and Defense Department said they examined the notable leads for more than 5,000 reported drone sightings and determined the sightings to date is a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and law enforcement drones, as well as manned fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and stars mistakenly reported as drones. Well, that's most of Hollywood anyway.
All right. Hang on.
What are we hanging on for? Pop just completely and utterly missed my joke, but that's okay.
Hang on. David Crockett.
What's
nuke.
David Crockett? What are you doing?
Oh, well, if we have all these drones flying around and nobody's doing shit about it, you could attach.
Colonel's back.
You could attach a man-packed nuke. Hey, sir, are you on Wi-Fi?
Yeah, I think that's the problem. Now I'm using the hotspot to my phone, so it should work.
Okay. Do you have your family at home watching TV and stuff on your Wi-Fi?
That's probably the problem.
Yes, you are receiving the Murphy penis in the ass, sir. Just so you know, I'm just saying.
First it's anal probes, then it's Murphy. You can't win tonight, sir.
But I'm just
terrible dilemma.
I'm an evil genius. And I literally if you have a drone that could, travel that kind of distance, it could probably lift a decent amount of weight. A man-packed nuke is not that expensive, or that heavy,
right?
And you can have somebody actually get it just outside our international border out in the ocean, fly one of these drones.
I'm sorry. I feel that theory is the sparrow with the coconut.
Listen, man, I'm just saying, if we don't have the defenses and nobody's doing shit about it, we had China fly a balloon across our country.
That's too elaborate. It's a balloon. Get over yourself. It's a balloon.
You can put a man-packed nuke on that shit and drop it.
But the problem is that's too Rube Goldberg.
Or
it is unnecessary because you could get a backpack nuke into the country at any port or border, stick it into a panel van, drive it into wherever you want, and kaboom.
Put it on a speedboat. Drive. You guys seen the speedboats driving up on the beach in San Diego?
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely correct.
There's 100 ways they could get something into the country.
Yeah.
So
I think fancy drones dropping nukes is just too Rube Goldberg. I mean,
that's just where my mind goes.
You've been watching Mission Impossible. And Guardians of the Galaxy. What do you think, sir? What do you think of these drones in New Jersey? What's your take?
Did you? Yeah, I'll say something before my Wi-Fi quits again or whatever. Did you guys see the story? I think it was yesterday. They talked about there was a BlackRock company subsidiary that had a drone that they found. It was on the news in New York yesterday. I've got the link somewhere on my phone, but
I'll
it
find
was.
I'm fast at this.
And they got on, and literally it was like, these aren't the drones you're looking for, out of Star Wars. Oh no, it wasn't this drone.
Yeah, I got it.
But I mean, my world paradigm is that, we're fighting the World Economic Forum globalist elites that have more money than God, and they're doing all kinds of shit like this, and they have the money and the technology to do things. So I wouldn't put it past, Amazon or Soros or Bill Gates. Any of these guys have enough money to put up a bunch of drones and have them fly around. I mean,
Yep. Here, look at this. It's a photo of the drone. Look at the size of that damn thing. Drone was later identified as property of Amogy, a sustainable energy company. Keep watching.
we talked about it on the RT yesterday, in our chat a little bit.
I figured you guys would be talking about it. That's why I was hoping to get one of you on here.
But I don't know. I mean, I think what Trump said is probably the most accurate thing. He's like, they know what this is, and they're not telling anybody for whatever reason.
I completely agree with that assessment.
Listen,
Here's a good picture of the drone. This guy looks like he stole it. Sorry, that was a cheap shot. I know, but it does look a little like that. Cops responded to an email tip alerting them to the presence of the drones, which they found on the sidewalk at 5th Street between Market and Morris. As officers were investigating, a passerby said he worked at the building that houses the headquarters of the drones manufacturer, Amogy, a sustainable energy startup working to use ammonia as a renewable fuel. That's an interesting concept. Ammonia as a fuel source.
I mean, look at the capability of drones these days with FPV drones, first-person video drones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watch that all the time.
You could literally have containers sitting around garages, whatever, and they could launch out of the garage or container, fly back, and then fly them right back into the thing, shut the door, and it'd be poof, it's gone. I mean, and not to mention, why are they always at night, not in daytime with their lights on?
There is that. There is absolutely that. Now, I mentioned this before. I know we possess the radar to track such activity. Now, having that and having it in place and being able to employ it are two entirely different things, believe you me.
Yes.
Right. Well, so at least from an air traffic control radar perspective, from what I understand, so when an airliner flies or any airplane flies, we have a transponder that identifies us. It sends out a signal that says, this is us. This is who we are constantly. Right. So, but if you don't have a transponder, all you show up is a radar image, and these drones aren't that big. So it's going to be a pretty small thing on a controller's screen. And that's probably who's mostly looking at this stuff is air traffic control radar. As far as I'm not an air defense guy, but my understanding would be that they're probably not looking all over rural suburban New Jersey and Connecticut for threats. They're looking out over the ocean, probably mostly with any kind of air defense radar. And so it'd be real easy to, just appear and not be able to be detected. And I think that that's showing a weakness. Like Matt Bracken has talked about this on some of his things. And, I've been talking with Matt where it's like, we're incredibly vulnerable. I mean, the Chinese could set up containers with, 50 drones that each have like 3 or 4 ounces of plastic explosive on them. And they could take out whole Air Force airfields, as far as blow up every
nightmare on an airfield. Think about that.
Would.
I mean, we're incredibly vulnerable.
Caliber rifle too.
Yeah, exactly.
All you got to shoot is the cockpit to get the electronics, and that airframe is down for months.
When we war gamed Korea, one of the techniques that the Korean airsoft liked to use was something called wooden soldiers, and they would strap explosive basically to telephone poles.
Yep.
and fly over with like a C-130 or some airframe like that. They could hold a bunch of those and just dump them on your airfields and detonate them, and now your airfield is useless.
Smoked.
You know, it's cheap, it's dirty, and it's really effective. So yeah, something like that absolutely would do the job.
And you know, I don't have the inside scoop on any of this, which is probably good because I can talk freely. I don't have any knowledge that would stop me from talking. But the technical aspect of it, in my opinion, would be very easy because look at Ukraine. Look at how effective the FPV drones and everything have been there.
God, yeah, that's bad. I hate to be a guy on the ground there.
Oh, yeah.
What our air defenses in the U.S. are minimal in the first place. You know, we've always used like, hey, we're separated from the enemy by a lot of big oceans and everything else. So, I mean, it's like condition green at every.
But
air
sir, they're going to have to come up with air defense that goes all the way down to basically the infantry platoon level.
Exactly. I agree.
That's what's going to have to do to defend against those small FP whatever drones. That's some scary ass shit.
You're going to require a whole new level of radant and techant and SIGINT.
I mean, I've been thinking this, you know, more from the grunt level, imagining it anyway. I don't have experience as a grunt, but like to me, the small scale drones they've been using in Ukraine, there almost needs to be like a drone Second Amendment because a drone is almost becoming like as more useful than a rifle in terms of its ability to deliver an attack that's very hard to defend against.
Correct.
You know, and that's starting at the grunt level, and it goes up from there at every level.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't know. That's some creepy ass shit, though. I'm just saying.
I mean, I had this idea. I was thinking of this earlier. I hate to admit that I was listening, but I was listening to Mike Adams, who sometimes I think is off in cuckoo land, but he's a smart guy. He makes some good points.
He has moments of clarity.
Yes. And I had a thought occurred to me while I was listening to some of his stuff was, you know, it wouldn't be beyond the pale of a foreign entity, say the Russians, the Chinese, or whatever, just to do all this as a show, just to be like, we're just showing you what we're capable of. And we're not going to do anything. We're just showing you that we could be making this weaponized. That's a possibility, kind of like they did with
Russia just did that in the Ukraine when they dropped those God rods.
Yeah,
exactly. So it could be something like that where they don't. I could see the DoD not wanting to admit that a foreign power was able to do this, and we have no.
I know for a fact that things like that have happened.
Yeah.
I am 100% certain that there have been incidents like that.
But here's the thing, though, is we're having a hard time keeping talent in our military as we speak.
It's been pushed out.
It's been pushed
keeping
out.
it in.
And I really can't see our military recruiting the expertise to defend against this because I'm gonna be now. No offense to you, sir, but most of the officers.
Sorry, I got invaded by the toddler.
It's okay. Aliens. Colonel's being invaded by aliens.
It's the 2-year-old drone. No.
Yeah, like most of the officers I served with were just pieces of absolute shit. All right. Hang on. All right.
He's all right.
All right. No, we got to. Hey,
I got him. I'm going to mute your mic for a second, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
But what I'm saying, though, is we have leadership in our military that is so toxic. They're driving the qualified people out, and they're keeping people from coming in because they've lowered the standards now for people coming in to the point where it's absolute ludicrous. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's pretty correct.
I mean, they're taking people without high school diplomas, without GEDs. I mean, they're taking fat boys. They're going down the list of stuff that used to disqualify you from the service just to make their quota. Do you know how many? If that goes on for like 5 years, you're going to have like 25% of the people in the service completely incompetent.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
And we're going to have to, we're going to have these systems that are going to be able to defend platoons on the ground to the last man, but you don't have the expertise to run those.
Yeah, they don't have them. I've unmuted the Colonel's mic. The alien invasion has abated.
Okay.
I missed that age. My baby's 23.
I got you.
But yeah, that's absolutely correct. They have the people that are in the military now. They're not going to be able to run that. I mean, wait a minute. We've got an airline pilot here that we can ask. How's the level of your ground crews now? Competence. Are you seeing any activity on that level?
No, I'd say it's not really visible at my level because I'm flying wide bodies, which are, first of all, the most expensive operation in the airline. So we've got excellent help whenever we need it.
Okay.
It'll probably be more visible. Where I am seeing things like that is at the regional level. Like I fly on smaller airplanes to go to work, to commute.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing there that their quality of, or their experience level is dropping precipitously. Because all the guys with any experience are getting sucked up by all the major airlines. So it's most evident at the lower end of the airline,
Yeah, but it's just a matter of time for you start seeing that come up to your level.
I don't know if I'll see it because I'm flying it with older guys. We're all towards the last part of our career. So I might see it towards the very end of my career.
All right.
Another 7-8 years.
All right, so you got like less than a decade to keep hauling carcasses around through the sky. I got it.
Perhaps, but then they're gaining experience too. I mean, they've made a lot of advances in training capability for new pilots that didn't exist in the past for civilian pilots. They basically made civilian pilot training more like military pilot training.
I think I'm talking about the mechanics on the ground, your ground crews, the guys that are maintaining those blades inside those massive turbine engines.
Yeah, so far I haven't seen it, but I think that time is coming.
I mean, we have Boeing is getting screwed over 3 ways to Sunday because they're having doors fly off airframes.
Well, that was about what was that 2 years back? Do you have any insight into any of that?
You want my
yes,
I got a conspiracy theory about it.
yes, please.
Okay, so like my conspiracy theory is we got the World Economic Forum and the globalists, and if you go look at their websites, they'll say that they want to eliminate all commercial aviation by like 2050. I think the World Economic Forum types all prefer Airbus because it's a French company and they're all mostly dominated by Europeans. So
they're based out of Davos. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's in their interest to take down Boeing, to make Boeing look bad. And a lot of the things that were coming out of the news about Boeing were the same kind of shit we've been hearing about Airbus for decades. So, and the other thing is, a lot of this is stuff that is happening all the time, has always happened. They decided to suddenly report it all the time. So it's things that happened that they suddenly decided to make a lot of whoop-de-doo about because they wanted to achieve some goal, which I believe is to weaken Boeing, because Boeing's an icon of American power, American aviation.
Absolutely.
I still think Boeing's are the best damn airliners made. Boeing's are made for real pilots. Airbuses are made for people that are not as well experienced or trained in general. And I know that's a gross generalization. I've flown Airbuses, so I can say something about them. I mean, you can learn to fly them and fly them well, but they're not the same as a Boeing. A Boeing is made with the expectation that you're a pilot. An Airbus is made with, we're going to try to stop the pilot from being an idiot because we don't trust the pilot.
I don't normally grab quotes out of the chat like this, but I'm going to because I happen to know the individual saying it is an actual engineer. It says the new Air Force One ordered in 2018 can't yet be delivered by Boeing.
Wow.
Well, and I think that also is reflecting issues with their CEO and the problems they were having with the 737 MAX. If you guys followed that at all.
Oh yeah,
I know of that. You appear more than I do.
Well, that was a clear breakdown of Boeing's like design philosophy. And if they had just stayed with building airplanes the way they'd always done it, it probably would have never been a problem. So, but because of things they did with the Max, like one of the key things they did is they changed stuff in the software that affected how the airplane flew. But my understanding is they basically never told the pilots that they did that.
Oops. Yeah.
But all that being said, just to give you an understanding at a deeper level, they had the same incidents that caused a couple of those Max planes to crash in like Africa and other places. They had similar incidents to like that happen in the US with US airlines like United and American. And in those cases, the United and American crews stopped the situation from getting worse, prevented it, mitigated it, flew on, no problems, because they had the training and the experience with how to deal with it so that it wasn't a problem. So I would say that the reason those accidents happened was in part because they were being flown by crews in the third world that didn't have the awareness they needed to have.
Oh, I can vouch for that.
I
I've been on
gotcha.
some scary flights. Hey, I'm going to pop in here really quick and tell our viewers who may or may not have just started jumping in. Yet we're talking about possible scenarios for World War III, and you come in and we're talking about airlines crashing and the efficiency of Boeing. Well, let me tell you how that relates to this. World War III is not going to be fought with boots and tanks. Okay, most of World War III is already being fought, and it's being fought with these large psychological operations,
Economics.
like we're seeing with the jab and with the drones and with economics, and a lot of it is coming out of Davos. And the big moves are being made in boardrooms, not on battlefields. So all of this stuff is very related. You just heard Colonel Johnson talking about how the WEF is using Airbus. They want Boeing to be knocked down. That's a battlefield move. That's taking out an enemy's ability to transport.
Yeah, this World War III now is a huge chessboard.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
pawns, the pawns aren't even in play.
Yeah.
You've got the big boys. Now, the thing I'm worried about is Russia and Ukraine. The only reason Russia has not steamrolled Ukraine yet is because we've been, piping in a bunch of modern weapons to, fight off the Russian bear. But Putin is getting desperate, and desperation doesn't lead to wise decisions. And he might actually, pop off a tactical nuke to open up a lane so he can get his troops into the Ukraine. Because if he can do that and get his troops into Ukraine, Ukraine doesn't have the combat power to repel them again. The average age of the people on the line in Ukraine is 42, 43 years.
You and I discussed this earlier. Russia's ground and pound method is going to overcome Ukraine's smaller number of troops.
Correct.
Ukraine doesn't have sustain on the battlefield.
No, they don't.
They have no sustainability at all. And Russia basically, compared to the Ukraine, nobody has infinite, but compared to the Ukraine, Russia has pretty much infinite frontline capability.
Correct. But the thing is he's lost Syria. Russia's lost Syria. So they don't have, influence in that part of the world.
That was
anymore.
Christians in action all day long. It's
yes, it was.
identical to the Libya gambit.
Yeah, it was. But the thing is, Putin is now showing his ass, showing his weakness. And in Russia, when you're weak, they take you out.
That is not incorrect. That is not incorrect, but it remains to be seen. Again, Syria was definitely Christians in action, in my opinion.
Correct. And I
it's just... And the rebel leader, did you see the rebel leader? He actually looks exactly like Zelensky. Yeah. I saw him and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. What did Central Casting send this guy down? What the fuck is going on here? One of the things that's happening, though, is that, where are we? Over here. This is Poland.
Uh-huh.
And this is happening in a couple of Eastern Bloc countries. And
air's off.
first maths, then history, and finally shooting. Weaponry class is now mandatory in Polish schools and could soon become a favorite.
It feels good to hit the target.
Shooting is fun. Holding a gun in your hands and shooting feels really cool.
I think it's a good idea. Life is scary these days, so you have to be prepared for anything.
So
Yeah.
I just wanted to give you the general idea that we're not going to play the entire clip.
No.
But this is what's going on in the Eastern Bloc countries now.
They're
teaching
gearing
kids to
up.
shoot. We used to do this.
Yes.
Up until the 1950s, there were shooting classes in school. My mother had a shooting class in the 60s.
And Berkeley High had a shooting team up until the mid 70s.
There you go.
I remember my high school had a shooting team.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is when before Europe goes to war, you always see buildup within all of the countries in Europe. It happened in World War I. It happened before World War II.
Yep.
And if you go back to the 1800s, the Prussians, the Germans, Austria, they were always gearing up and fighting their goddamn little fucked up wars. And it's like we never fucking learn, except now we're a bunch of evil hairless monkeys with the ability to flip a switch and wipe everyone out on the planet. If we launch everything at once, we're dead. I'm serious.
I know. I think the nuke thing is overrated. I don't personally believe that there is a leader out there who is willing to do
Well, I'm telling you,
that.
my gut is telling me before I go to the horizontal rot slot and become dirt compliant,
right?
I'm going to see a nuclear warhead of some type being used in anger.
Well,
I mean, do you think Israel is going to allow themselves to be overrun and wiped out? Hell no.
You're talking about the Samson option.
Yeah. I mean, we all know Israel is not going to play around.
I think they are the ones most likely to use a nuke. I think a lot of the smaller countries and a lot of the Islamist extremist groups that are reputed to have weapons, I've never seen any proof that any of them actually have weapons. We know Iran does, but I think it is too much of a political hot potato. I do. I think it's too much of a political hot potato.
I hope you're right. I really
Russia
do.
crossed that threshold with the God rods.
What exactly are the God rods?
Okay, so imagine a huge telephone pole made of a super dense metal.
Oh, yeah,
like
okay. Now
tungsten.
I know what that is.
And when you drop
did
that
this
from a
happen?
height a couple of weeks ago.
Really? Okay. I'm out of
Wasn't
the
it tungsten?
but they're using hypersonic missiles.
Hey, Pop, shut up. Let the colonel speak.
I'm sorry, sir.
Oh, I was just saying, wasn't it tungsten or like titanium rods or something like that?
Right. They're super dense, and they were sent with so much force that you don't need a nuke. The energy from it just destroys everything within like a 500-meter radius. They're really impressive, and they cross that threshold where you don't have to worry about political repercussions because there's no nuke. There's no fallout. There's no radiation. It's just
boom.
It's a slap down with a telephone pole.
It's like
thrown from outer space.
It's like a miniature asteroid strike.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. That's exactly what it's like.
All right.
And I think what's amazing is we're having these kind of events like that happen like every week now. Every week there's a new revolutionary thing happening.
Yeah. What I'm saying though is it's just a matter of time before somebody does some stupid ass shit.
Well, here's the nuke map. Let's take we don't need that. What we want is a warhead. Now let's go with Soviet era nuke. What have we got? Who knows their nukes here?
Well, you can always do the smallest one, which
like 100 kilotons or something.
5 kilotons.
So let's take a little boy. Let's take from Hiroshima.
Yeah, okay.
That's one dropped on Hiroshima. Now I've positioned the pin between Baltimore and Washington. Let's move it a little closer to Washington. Let's say their aim isn't that great, but they'd really like to take out Bethesda because there's all sorts of important shit there.
Boom.
And you can see that even a little tiny bomb like that is going to take out all kinds of stuff and make a real serious mess. I'd like to know what the radius was, the effective burst radius of those God rods was. Let's amp this guy up here, the Fat Man of Nagasaki. Now you can see it's got a little more.
That one had plutonium, and the first one had uranium.
Mm-hmm. But if the Russians were to really actually
do some stupid shit,
and drop the Tsar Bomba at 50 megatons, now you've got yourself a real problem, because that inner green circle there was the blast radius of the fat boy.
Uh-huh.
And now you're looking at this. This is political death at this point. If a government were to drop something like this,
yeah, you're done.
Well, I mean, you're done. Yeah, you're cooked, sure. But politically, the country that dropped that, you're a pariah, because now everybody knows that you can't be trusted at all. You'll cook an entire. I mean, look at the blast.
First of all,
radius
that would destroy our entire federal government.
No, it wouldn't. They run to their bunkers. It would destroy the people who live around our federal government.
Not if there's no warning.
Yeah, exactly.
If there's no warning, those guys are cooked and booked.
I never saw anything to indicate that they could get in a weapon of this nature with no warning.
Okay.
Now this is
just go to hypothetical.
Hang on.
What about if it's like Pearl Harbor, where they know but they don't say anything?
That's a problem right there.
Yeah.
I know that's true. I saw that at the schoolhouse at Huachuca, by the way. What I'm getting at is the government will get their own asses out of there and let everybody around them die without ever telling them that it's coming.
True.
All right. The hypersonic missiles.
Mm-hmm.
You can be on the other side of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Hit the switch. You got about 15 to 21 minutes before things go boom. That's not a lot of time to get out of the area.
I agree, but we know that area is full of tunnels and nuke bunkers.
I'm just going to tell you, if something like that happens in the United States, it's going to be game on. It's going to be all hands on deck.
Yeah.
And listen, countries are going to get wiped off the planet.
Yeah.
And that's not, listen, and that nuclear fallout and all that horse shit is going to affect everyone.
Yeah. And that's part of the problem. That's part of the reason that I don't think any reasonable country, even the terrorists, they're against us and they want to kill us, but that does not make them unreasonable or unintelligent. That's a terrible mistake to make, to think that any of those people are unintelligent.
Zealot.
Yep.
Right.
Listen, zealots, they're all about going to get their 72 buttholes. All right.
What do you think about the whole nuke scenario, Colonel?
Well, I'm probably the wrong guy to ask, but my sense is that I was talking with other people today about this. I just think that if we see any nuke, any WMD used between now and the inauguration or shortly after, my sense is it's a false flag. I don't see any interest for the Russians, even the Iranians or the Chinese to go to the nuke level.
Yeah.
They don't gain anything by doing that.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the political angle that I'm talking about right there.
We have a whole, clusterfuck of billionaires or whoever's pulling the strings of all of the governments in this nation that they want to see a massive depopulation. And the best way to make that happen is war.
Right.
I am going to disagree with you, and I'll tell you specifically why.
Do it.
Our food systems are much more vulnerable, and it would be a lot easier And all you have to do is go back and look at the gulags of Russia. The kulak means farmer, first of all. They shut down and took the land from the farmers, and they did it so quickly and so efficiently that millions starved to death. They think the number is somewhere around 100 million.
Yeah.
The food supply is a much more viable target than the idea of nuking a city.
Well, you guys have read 1 Second After, right? The book 1 Second After?
I haven't read the book. I'm familiar with it though.
Or heard about it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that series, I mean, the whole thing it was written in the 80s. And the technical advisor for the book was a Navy admiral that was the head DoD EMP expert. And in that series of books, it lays out a scenario where basically an EMP cooks the grid. Basically, that destroys food distribution immediately. And in a year, you have 90% die off. And the problem is how do you, if you get to that level, how do you prove who did the EMP? I mean, I know they can measure radiation and they can figure out whose bomb it was and stuff like that. But the problem is the damage is already done. Once it happens, you're baked for the cake in a 90% population loss, whether you know who did it or not.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And at that point, Hillary Clinton is finally right. What does it matter at that point?
Yeah, and another one is, and we talked about this before the show. You got the India-Pakistan conflict that, they could get stupid.
I have some visibility into that particular one because it was adjacent to my particular packet, and we had to keep an eye on them because they kept buying weapons from the North Koreans, which was really irritating. India and Pakistan are essentially the same people. Pakistan ceded from India. I can't remember when, but it's been quite some time when it became a Muslim state. And India is primarily Hindu and a group of other small animistic religions. They go at each other in the Kashmir region constantly, but it never really escalates past maybe like an armor incident or two. The whole India-Pakistan thing is more posturing, and it is a lot more like the Do Not Redeem video on YouTube than it is guys that are very serious about using nuclear weapons. They're not. It's a posturing war. They're peacocks. There's never been an indication that they're going to field actual divisions.
I mean, if I recall, they came pretty close to doing the nuke dance. Was it 8 years ago?
Yes. They put on their biggest peacock hats and held up their nuclear missiles and waved them around, and then everybody went back to eating curry.
But here's the thing, though, is you got the people at the top who started the nuclear game, and the genie's out of the bottle, and it's just going down the list. Sooner or later, we're going to get to those nation states who literally cannot manufacture, give a fucks, and they're going to kick some shit off, and it's going to be on. I mean, I'm being a total pessimist here. I know
you are being a pessimist, but
well,
go ahead, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, let's step back a second. What is the presumption? Is it in all possible cases that lead us to World War III? Or is it like, what do we expect to happen in the next month or two or something like? I'm trying to get the time frame.
This is all possible, all of the major elements that might lead to a World War III.
Okay.
And I personally don't believe Pakistan and India play a role in that.
Let's hope not. Here's another thing. You might have China look up north and go, well, Russia's real weak now, and attack them. And then that could kick it off, and that would be just insane because China and Russia have a huge arsenal of nuclear warheads.
Tom Clancy wrote some really good papers on that never actually became a book. The Russians and the Chinese played a lot of border tag, a lot like the Russians and the Americans play tag over the
Is it the Sakhalin Islands there?
The Aleutians
Off of
in
Alaska?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Aleutians. Sakhalin's off Japan.
Off Japan. Thank you. The Aleutians there. We play a lot of tag with the Russians and have forever. Or our sub wars. Some of the submariners I've talked to. Holy crap! The stories they have of playing tag with the Russians.
Yeah,
but
they're pretty good.
The Chinese and the Russians did pretty much the same thing for a very long time, and are probably still doing that. So those are sort of stale chess matches that have been going on for a very long time.
I gotcha.
Well,
listen, I don't want to see it happen.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
So, like, just like the Russians showed their Rods of God weapon recently, a question that I've had in the back of my mind ever since Ukraine kicked off, and we saw the Biden regime constantly trying to provoke the Russians, like constantly finger pointing, hitting them poking them in the chest. Like, you want to fight? You want to fight? You want to fight? And the Russians have backed down, or not backed down isn't the right word, but they've exercised restraint at every possible opportunity. So one question I had is, what has made our establishment do that? Do they know? Do they think that they have some capability that's invisible, like space weapons, space force, whatever, that is so beyond the capability of the Russians that they can basically do whatever they want? That's one question that's occurred to me.
Sir, if Russia has these Rod of God weapons,
we know that they do.
We have them too.
Yes. Yes, I'm sure we do. Or something similar, or something maybe better. We don't know. But that, or is our foreign policy establishment just that stupid, or they just want to get in a war? They just want to have a war, and that would match the depopulation agenda that you talked about, Pop.
I was right up against State Department as part of the G5 for 8th U.S. Army in Korea. And I can tell you that the stupid is pretty deep. We were at a lot of embassy events, and a lot of those people don't belong anywhere near any diplomatic anything. Their IQs are milk toast at best.
What? You don't say. we have mediocre people and incompetent people.
A lot of the
running our government,
a lot of the diplomatic appointments are fellatio adjacent.
Correct. Or picked by flicking a booger at a list of people on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Fellatio adjacent.
Sorry.
No, you're right, though.
It is. I know I am. I know. I saw it. It was horrible. It's really, especially because I had a very competent commander at that time at Civil Affairs. I worked for a very, very good colonel that I still send Christmas cards to. But we would stand in the room at these embassy events and just look at each other and look at them and look at each other and look at them. And we're like, this can't be real. I'm afraid it is. God damn it.
I know. You have like a whole bunch of retarded morons. I just like, oh my God.
Right. And I saw plenty of that in the Air Force, you know, even in Desert Storm, Desert Shield, Somalia. I mean, flying cargo planes, plenty of evidence of gross stupidity driving the operation.
Yeah, it's shocking. It's amazing that it rises to that level. Oh, for an Alexander or a Julius Caesar, or even a freaking Hannibal Barca, for crying out loud.
So, I mean, when you guys put it in that perspective, that makes me think that they just want to start a war to kill everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would not shock me at all. That would not shock me at all. I saw Madeleine Albright roach a 50-year-old classified program during some talks in North Korea at the border, Panmunjom, in 2000, just to puff her ego. She mentioned some things that could only have been gotten from a certain line of transmission. And within 18 hours, that program went dark. We had
a handful of people disappear, and the entire program collapsed, and we had to shut it down. So that's the kind of stuff that goes on.
Yeah, that's some bullshit right there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, first of all, we should not have allowed any other countries to acquire nuclear warheads. We had the monopoly. We easily could have said no and started just.
A lot of that stuff has been stolen. A lot of the tech has been stolen.
I know, but the thing is,
China runs the departments in our universities.
I understand that. I understand that, but we had the ability. Like, oh, you stole our shit? Well, if you build a nuclear warhead, we're gonna fuck you up.
Wasn't it the Rosenbergs in the 50s? I may have the name wrong. That gave the tech to the Russians.
Yes,
that's correct.
Absolutely correct.
Julius and Rosenberg.
So if we just use the hypothetical argument of depopulation being the goal, if we just go with that for a second, then the one thing that I've seen that makes some sense to me with the logic that I've witnessed is that they don't want to get the blame. So they keep trying to provoke everyone else to try to start a war, just like they do to patriots in the United States. They keep trying to provoke so that someone else initiates hostile operations first, so that then they can come in and launch Armageddon or whatever.
They cry victim and then
yes.
Yeah.
So that's the one, because I've thought, well, if they just want to have a war to kill everybody, why haven't they just done it? I mean, it would be pretty easy. And the other question that comes up is, if that's the case, is that maybe they actually don't have the level of control we might assume they have. In other words,
I would fall under that. I really think they don't have the level of control that they think they have.
I would agree.
Because if they did, Trump would not have won this election.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm talking even in the DOD. I'm saying even in the DOD, it's like, I don't think they have the ability or the desire to launch on their own authority, because either they're going to face resistance within DoD possibly, or they, like we said just a second ago, they don't want to get the blame. They don't want to be seen as the hostile actor. And that would explain why Putin has constantly been reserved and just delay, like he's just trying to delay to get to Trump, to hopefully have a rational actor in the White House. I don't know.
Well, I mean, sir, if you think the dictator-in-chief we have now in the White House has actually been running the country, he can't even walk up, stairs to his own aircraft.
I like to say he can't eat yogurt without supervision.
What do you mean? He's in total control.
Dude, that dude is a baked potato on meth and dicks.
Yeah.
Which version of him? There's several I've seen.
That's true also.
Yeah,
that is also
if I could interject on the Biden conversation here, James O'Keefe actually had a drop that one guy from a major office that Biden is in check with. Let's just say Biden. Well, let's just say he's got a memory of a goldfish right now.
Correct.
He is theoretically dead. The hamster is dead, but the wheel is still spinning upstairs. Is basically how Biden is right now, according to the James O'Keefe video that was dropped not too long ago.
Nice.
Gotcha. I don't know. All I could say is we're fucked, and I'm glad I'm on the back end rolling in.
I have to point out the time, gentlemen.
Yeah, I got you.
We have rolled into super chat time. Sir, thank you a lot for coming on and giving us some perspective on some of this stuff, particularly the air industry. I had no idea a lot of that, what you were bringing up.
Yeah, also, sir, don't take my comments about officers personally.
I don't think he does. We didn't get a single "now see here" out of him, so
yeah. Hey,
see here.
That's my instead of saying "see here," I'll always go, "Hey."
It's good to be here. Flying the C-141s, we usually had 4 to 6 enlisted guys with us that all kept us from getting too much officer hubris going on. So
Yeah, I jumped out of quite a few C-141s.
we're at
Fort Lewis, Fort Bragg, Georgia.
good deal. I did airdrop at Benning and Bragg a fair amount.
Yeah, when you jump out of the 41, it's like you get to the door, you jump out, and it's like you get hit with this blast of warm air for about 3 seconds, and then your chute opens and your balls get ripped off, and it's all fun and games from there. So yeah. All right, Jimmy. Let's start off the super chats.
Alrighty, sounds good. And of course, as always, the Rumble chat is screwy with me, and the
That's
even
okay.
the YouTube chat's a little screwy with me. I did see. We'll just go ahead and knock this one out first. Rusty Shackelford, he sent us $100, wishing us a Merry Christmas. Of course, YouTube's got to get rid of that. But Rusty, we owe you one of these.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Did his super chat disappear?
I did see it at the very beginning when I jumped in and got all my stuff ready to go. Let me just double check here.
Yeah, I can't see it either. It's off the grid.
Okay, yep, here we go. I got the right tab here going on here. Let's see. We'll start off here with not a banned account for the 199. Our local troll. We love them. No homo. He says, do the drones over New Jersey mean martial law is here?
I hope not, because that's not going to go over well.
Not yet, because there's, I don't know. I've been kind of ignoring that particular topic because people are going, well, let's just say there's a special Robert Downey Jr. quote that in a Tropic Thunder. I'm just saying.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Regarding that question, the one thing I was talking to Dave from the roundtable group earlier, and the thing that we were both talking about with the drones is that the whole drone psyop narrative, whatever it is just collapsing on itself. So it's looking so bad that the one thing that occurred to me is if they were planning to do any kind of operational false flags or anything with it, their time of useful narrative is basically gone. I think. I mean, if something doesn't happen here in the next day or two, I think they're on the verge of, everybody's just laughing at it across the country. Is my impression. I don't know.
Could be. All right, let's get on to the next one, Jimmy.
Could be. All right, we got Matt Burgess here with $3, giving us a big old thumbs up there. Hopefully not a thumb up the ass, man. Are you a doctor?
Hey. Hey.
Hey. Let's see. Pete coming in with $1.99. He's saying, check your text.
Yeah, he sent me a video. I can't watch it right now. It's on my phone.
All righty. And we got Cool Cat with $5 says, Pop, I truly believe the government blaming Iran for the attempted Trump hit and these drones is an excuse for war, just like Iraq and Afghanistan.
I'm not going to say you're wrong.
I mean, it's obviously a possibility.
Yeah.
Yep. I have seen some flip-flopping going on. First, we heard it was Iran. Now there's some senators saying it's China. So who knows? That's like I said, I have no idea. And there's Rusty Shackelford's Merry Christmas donation there. Thank you, good sir. L Snows with $10. Revenue for Pop and Crew. Please keep on keeping on.
Thank you very much, sir.
Love your content. No homo. Just for good measure. May I please get a Blue Oyster Bar Pop?
Oh my God.
Let's see here. Where's it at? Oh, I wouldn't be laughing, Battle Dwarf. Billy Von Baum gave me some information earlier today. So
wait,
I'm just
what?
saying. we'll get there, but here's your Blue Oyster Pop.
Everyone in the regiment gets fucked with. That's just the way it goes.
Whitest boy ever.
I am.
Some green screen abuse. And next one here comes from Mazatazo with $2. Says Bob's Basement Bar. YouTube, you need to unfuck yourself with this bullshit.
Yeah, it's a pain in
Either
the
that, or
ass.
either that or my laptop needs to unfuck itself. Son of a bitch. Keep freezing
YouTube
up on me. Here we go.
demonetized 3 of the shorts
Mhm.
that were outtakes that had no swear words, nothing weird, just you and Blake just BSing.
Yep.
It's
Shocker.
completely random, totally random.
And to finish off Mazatazel's comment there, it says Bob's Basement Bar, beer, peanuts, and pinball.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Hell yeah. Excuse me. So we got Kenji 1090 here with $20. Says, I'm in security at a nuke plant in the Northeast. We've been buzzed by these drones recently. We think it's just a few chuckleheads. Typically, state and federal departments let us know they're doing shit. Well, that, and it's totally not like a couple years ago, a Chinese spy balloon got to, float over these same areas before it was shot down.
Guys, there's so much stuff upstairs looking down at us. It's just.
I got you. Next one.
Yep.
Sensationalism.
So you got a FMF veteran here with $10. No comment. Thank you, though. Good, sir. Let's see. L Snows here with $10 says, Battle Dwarf, tell me about the State Department. I served in 2001 between college and grad school, and the ambassador under whom I served, Victor Manuel Roca, was serving as a spy for the Cubans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's bad.
This is bad. This is bad, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's. I only saw Northeast Asia, but what I saw of State Department and diplomatic court just terrified me. Anyway, carry on.
Terrible. And last one here on YouTube. We got Hermitage Prepper with $10. Says they want distant war to stuff their pockets of MIC and carve Russia up like a ham. Russia trying to warn USA that the war will not be on a distant battlefield. Russia is using Middle East to resist hedge money.
Listen, there's levels of shit we don't even know about, and most people won't because our media has been compromised. So, could be.
Very, very true. All right, we'll jump over here. I do have the Rumble here jumped open, and the first one on my end, at least, is from Mighty Mouse Malibu for $5. Says, I love the C-141. Watch their loud ass TF-33s. We're still screaming. Honestly, one could cause complete chaos by going after our grid. Doesn't need to be an HE either. Conductive foil like we did to Iraq.
Yeah, it would be really easy. I can get the other ones.
You go back. The first one's from Susie McCarley.
Is that Single for Life?
No, Susie McCarley. It's the first one. If you on Rumble.
On Rumble, I don't see hers.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, read it.
Play Billy Von Baum's new A-Pop Apocalypse video. We can't because there's copyrighted stuff on there and we're on YouTube. I saw part of it earlier before the show, and oh my god,
it is awesome. BillyVonBaum.com. Billy Von Baum on YouTube. Check it out, folks.
Big Pal Mando, $2. Not so serious question. If AOC and Jane Hawkins get sent into space, will we have legitimate Star Wars? Yes. Another one from these are I believe these are duplicates on Rumble.
Yeah, Rumble's been having some duplicate issues recently.
I've got Single for Life for $1 says, are there titty birds trainers still a thing in the Air Force? Colonel Bruce, can you answer to that? What's a titty bird trainer?
I don't know. Is he still on?
He's there. He's just muted.
He might be off the
grid. At least I think he's there.
We got one here from Big Tal Mando. Not so serious question. No, hang on. Dwarf, how do you make a Bolshevik glow? Have him spend a week in Chernobyl. Drink.
Hang on. Where's it at? I know I added it here, or did I not add it yet?
Western Citizen throws $3 at us and says, research Bob Lazar. He explains how classified UFO technology works in detail.
Yep, I've watched a lot of his shit, and he makes a lot of sense.
Interesting. I have not seen him. Big Town Mando also throws another dollar at us and says, I'm not going to say it was aliens, but did they have green cards? Larf. Yeah, that's caught up.
And here's another one from Count Chad the Impaler. I'll be in New York City this weekend with my sister. My condolences. Girlfriend, daughter, flying in from Germany. Hopefully, there'll be no radiological incident in New York City. I hope Nest catches the perps. And then we have another one from Tomahawk. Stuck working the late shift by myself, but at least I have you guys to keep me company. Thanks, gentlemen.
Hey.
Boom.
Rah.
Oh, yeah. And it does look like the Lieutenant Colonel is back here. So if we could get that question asked again for him.
The titty trainers in the Air Force, the question was, are those still a thing?
Which trainers?
Titty trainers. I feel like there's the Titty Bird trainers.
the Tweety Bird trainer?
Maybe Tweety Bird, but he put Titty Bird trainers.
He must have meant like T-37. No, they're not in use anymore.
Oh,
okay.
There you have it.
I wish there were Titty Bird trainers, but
the Air Force was full of... I have stories. I have so many stories.
We don't have time for that.
There you go.
Moving along.
Let's see. All right, jumping back into the Rummel side. K-Note 72 says, rumor has it current Boeing executives and leadership are former military brass. Pop's favorite kind of people.
Fuck them. Sorry.
There you go.
I agree with Pop.
Tell us how you really feel. And Mighty Mouse Malibu coming back says, for what it's worth, Boeing was a great company. Hope it can come back. I'm an A&P from experimental flight test to heavy maintenance. Hot take, Airbus is a pile of shit and sucks to work on.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yep. And we got Alicard 1776. He says, I said this a long time ago. Once corporations own everything, they will fight each other for dominance.
It's the whole premise of Blade Runner.
Yep.
That's actually a really good point if you think about it.
Yep.
Like what we were talking about, imagine all these drones are just being run by corporations.
Yeah.
Kind of creepy.
Kind of creepy. Let's see. MGTOW Mando coming back again says, let's be honest. We are the generation that will see Fallout 0. I hope to be outside the blast radius of a multi-story mushroom so I can laugh at all the jackwagons who don't know spit about it.
It's not out of the realm of possibility, unfortunately.
Yep. Let's see. Raging Sailor here with $5 says, Pop, secret squirrel I know has been hinting to China amassing troops near Russian border for an invasion. Sensing Russian weakness, do you think Xi Jinping would do it?
Yes.
That's my bailiwick right there. I talked about that earlier. They've been going back and forth for years. I don't know that China would do a full-scale political invasion. A lot of those people around there learned their lesson when the Russians did the slash and burn and let the German troops discover that there was nothing there.
Yeah.
It was bad. If you don't know what the Russians did to the Germans in the Western Front, you need to read that.
There you go. All righty, moving on here. MX Stilgar, a.k.a. Jenny Conway there, the man with the golden voice, says in 1988, Jackie Mason said Israel had the hydrogen bomb for 30 years and never used it. Know why? It cost $350 million. You think they're going to throw that away on an Arab?
Well, you never know.
Yep. And we got Single for Life here says they have radiation detectors at the U.S. borders.
That is true.
Yep.
Colonel lost his internet connection.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Bummer.
Let's
see. Mando coming back and says, allegedly 8-minute flight time from central Serbia to grounds here in Kaunas. Allegedly.
Kaunas. Yeah.
Kaunas.
With a hypersonic missile.
That is the continental United States.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Let's see here. Oh, and Mando's actually got a request.
Oh no.
Let's see, where's it at? He wants to make Pop sparkle and sing.
Oh, I hate that one. God damn it.
Your request is
Granted.
granted.
You know what would be great? Pop was talking about doing live comedy. If he came out on his very first show and did like 10 seconds of that.
Oh, God.
That would be hilarious. And
It would be
welcome back there, Lieutenant Colonel. I'm sorry you had to see that.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Pop hates one
I
so
hate
much
that
that we all love it.
Well, since you mentioned it, Billy got a hold of me and says, well, you really shouldn't call him the Yellow Power Ranger dwarf because Billy has powers. And these powers are diabolical.
Yeah, Billy's powers are extremely diabolical.
Some may call them a war crime. And well, I'm just saying, respect the Von Baum.
I hate you!
Guys screaming in a fire.
Oh,
it's brutal!
yeah.
Oh,
Everyone gets fucked with.
my ass just ate the chair. That's brutal.
There you go. So, Billy, if you're in the chat, I made sure the dwarf got his comeuppance.
All right.
All right, moving on with the super chats here. We got Ali Card coming back. It says the dog man called. She wants you to go into the woods with her, and don't forget about the beer and the blanket. There you go. LB Weaver coming in says Biden Harris, the cackler and the cracker.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Wow.
The Deus Ex Machina Prime with $50. He's saying Merry Christmas to us as well. Well, you know what? Merry Christmas to you, and we are not worthy.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Thank you very much.
Mando, of course, he's got to come on in with a dad joke. He says, Jimmy, quit droning on.
Lol. God.
Mando sure does love his dad jokes. Let's see. Berserker Brad, 1983 with 15 says, I don't think we're fucked. The atomic bomb has been around for 79 years and only 2 have ever been used. I think the fear of death is the strongest deterrent one can conceive.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
all right.
agree
Hang on.
with you, Berserker.
2 have been used in anger, but we've blasted off quite a few in testing.
Yeah.
You just want somebody to nuke someone.
I'm just telling you.
Want somebody to nuke someone.
I hope not.
If you want to get nuked, touch our boats. I dare you.
You're just waiting for somebody to get nuked. You've got your favorite sock just waiting.
Sorry.
There you go. And Professor Blake Pooh Ass Blaster 3000 says, Pop, question. Do you think World War III can happen in the Trump administration?
It could happen anytime. It just takes some asshole to flip the switch.
Yeah, Trump is not the catalyst there. I don't see that as a thing.
Speaking of assholes flipping switches, well, I'm an asshole, but I don't flip switches. I just push buttons.
I hate that one, man.
This is part of this. This is part of the super chat, man. I got to drop it on you.
I know.
Yeah, so we got Cliff 3188 coming in. Says an octo drone can be retrofitted to carry 1,000 pounds.
Really?
That's the potential to carry and drop a fire team from point of origin 6 miles away in any direction, staying under the radar, allegedly, of course.
What's that technique where they pick
Nap
up
of the earth.
a string of guys? No.
Yeah, I know. I've only
And everybody does this.
Yeah.
I've seen it done. I've never participated, but I've seen it done.
No, I mean, we practiced that in the regiment when I was in the 2nd Ranger Battalion, but we didn't go anywhere. They just hook you up, hook you up about 500 feet, and then they bring you down. So everyone's qualified to do it, but we never did it for real.
Fun times.
Anyway, yeah.
Let's see. Broken Pine 284 coming in says Ukraine is the Ukraine equals Vietnam 2.0.
I agree with that assessment on several levels, but that would require a show.
Yes.
Maybe we'll line Vietnam and Ukraine up and see what happens.
Huh.
Oh boy.
All right.
And Professor Blake coming in and asking, can we bring back Lord Zed?
Well, we can give him we sent him an email. He hasn't responded. So I don't know what's going on with him.
Well, hopefully we can. We shall see. Let's see. And Single for Life coming in says Twitty Birds. So, yep, he is correct. And
Tweety Birds. Yes, he was talking about Tweety Birds.
Let's see. And Mando says, Dwarf, you missed several of my early chats.
I may have. I apologize for that. Sometimes YouTube just eats the chats, man.
Yeah.
We've experienced.
This is over on Rumble. I think I'm gonna figure something out here where I can hold on to the chats there.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll experiment with that. Single for Life, he's asking for a request. He says, Jimmy, play the Dog Walker or Hillbilly Hillary.
Yikes.
Well, Blake has not sent me the Dog Walker, and we already did
the Hillbilly Hillary.
Yeah, we already did that. But well, actually, you know what? Pop, you have a secret you're not telling us.
Oh,
you made up with your arch enemy, and we have video proof of it.
So good and tasty.
God damn it. All right. This AI shit's got to go.
Billy Bob Mama's on a tear.
Oh,
right,
yeah. I was laughing my ass off.
Oh,
and Alley Card 1776 coming in says, I don't want to set the world on fire.
Yeah, I'm inclined to disbelieve you.
Yeah. And let's see. And Jerry Conway coming back says, Shalom, gents. Requesting again for some future date, a subscriber stream movie night of 1984's Red Dawn. Please, specifically asking for Battle Dwarf, Digital Dave, and Lieutenant Colonel Johnson to attend.
We could do a Red Dawn stream one of these days. After the new year, I think.
Hang on.
Next Tuesday, by the way, is Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And I will not be here, and I don't think we're going to have a show.
No, we're not doing it.
Frankly, the wife would have my nuts on a platter.
Yeah.
So we're not going to go there.
Yeah, it's Zombie Jesus Day. And
Zombie Jesus.
This is what it is.
There we go. Let's see. We'll jump back over here to the YouTube side. We had one more come in. We got Bodhi Stava with $4.99. It says, Pop, Dwarf, and Jimmy, and Lieutenant Colonel. Love you guys. No homo. From this squid, number 411 here.
All right. We got 411.
Raw.
Outstanding. Yeah. That was like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
Fucking standing. All righty. And we'll jump over to the MGTOW side of the chats here. I'm sure the MGTOW chat is MGTOW chatting. And we got a couple from Crazy Uncle here. This first one here says, I opened the stream to see Sneezy Pop. I'm putting down beers so I can pass out tonight, so I'm sleepy. So what does that make the War Hobbit and the banana-loving, button-pushing monkey?
The War Hobbit.
He's a battle dwarf, damn it. Damn, he's got to be at least 6 inches shorter to be a hobbit. I don't know, man. I'm not familiar with all the names of all the dwarves. That's stinky.
Let's say Doc.
All right.
And I'll just be Drunky. I'm the 8th lesser known dwarf that sleeps in the mine.
You're tipsy.
Tipsy. There we go. And Crazy Uncle second one here says, I don't think we have to worry much about foreign enemies fucking up our food supply.
That's an absolute truth.
We have idiots on the left that want to fuck up the food supply.
Mm-hmm.
The ID10s. Yep. And let's see. We'll jump over to the Odyssey side here. We got It's a mouthful. That's what Barry said. Big Mike's raging rectum wrecking purple-headed prostate puncher. Says, so you're replacing the blackboard with a whiteboard. Just another example of the man keeping a brother down. Brotherboard down.
The
Just wait.
whiteboard was first.
Yeah.
Huh?
Just you wait till I tell gay cruise cabin boy Barry Sweato's prolapsed anus about that.
Wow.
All right. All right.
And Big Mike coming back says, speaking of books, Battle Hobbit.
What?
Was it you or Rudyard Lynch who recommended the book A Surprise Kill of Venus by Annie Jacobson? In any case, I just finished it, and the more I learn, the more I am concerned that we have a serious problem in those governments, and the government are seriously evil.
Mm-hmm. That particular book was not me, but yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, someone. Let's see. We got Feel a Fucking Suck. Good to see you there, Jackal. Says the future of warfare will go one of two ways. Star Wars, where entire armies consisting of autonomous machines fight instead of meatbags, or Metro Exodus, where someone says fuck technology and nukes or EMPs the world, forcing humanity to fight the old-fashioned way, man to man. Either way, they both suck.
Yes.
Yeah.
War always sucks, man.
War sucks.
Yeah.
It's supposed to suck.
And anyone who tells you violence is not the answer is out of their goddamn mind. It's the ultimate answer.
It's always been the answer.
Yes.
Sorry. It has always been the answer. All of history bears that out.
And Big Mike coming back says, go big or go home. Tsar Bomba.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they can actually make it way more powerful. They dialed it down because they're like, well, we don't want to destroy the earth or anything.
Perhaps this is a bit much, yeah.
Exactly.
So I have a question. If Tsar Bomba is the big nuke from Russia, is the Cuban nuke called La Bomba?
Ouch.
I'll see myself out.
That was pretty good.
That's terrible.
That's a joke, man. I like it.
I was channeling my inner MGTOW Mando there. So I apologize for the bad joke there. All right, we'll jump over to the cash apps. Here we got a handful here. We got one from Contractor J, $25, says, take my money, you dirty riggers.
Hey, very much. Hey, Rumble puked one back up with Big Town Mando throwing another buck at us. And Jimbo, check your DM on Gilded. Just sent you something you need for requests.
All right.
Carry on.
Yep. I will take a look. Oh, there it is. Okay. I will, since we're running just a little over time, I will have that saved, and I will have that added to the brand there for the next one.
We're not like super overtime until we
No, we're
like
not.
10,
We're doing
20.
okay.
We're just about pushing it. Just hit 809 here.
Mm-hmm.
We got Paul with $10 says, does Battle Dwarf always make out with Bolsheviks?
Wow. You got a gross joke and a drink joke in.
Wow.
Same. Wow.
There, I said it. Bolsheviks. Now drink.
There it is. I found it.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Hey, Von Bomb.
Dude.
That's beautiful, baby.
Hey man, be careful. He's already got you kissing.
God,
he's already got you kissing Nancy Pelosi. I don't know if
was
you want.
funny as hell.
Damn, that's brutal.
Wow.
But everyone gets fucked with.
That's great.
Sorry.
That's funny. That's just the way it
That's
goes.
funny.
Oh,
Yep.
Lord.
Well, let's just say the Redonkulas Regiment Pop isn't the only one in a wedding dress. Go. And let's see. We got $10 from Lynn here with $10. Redundancy department called. Battle Dwarf playing a feature of tonsil hockey with Nancy.
Ugh.
Wow.
We already showed that. I don't want to see it again.
Looks like you got a fan of
I'd rather
the.
not throw up in my mouth more than once a night.
Yeah.
You don't mind.
We're not drinking Ouzo, so none of this drink your vomit shit.
Yeah. All righty. Let me do one quick run through again. Looks like YouTube is all caught up. Check Rumble on that side. Looks like we had two jump in. Got Ellie Card. Question: Pop, Battle Dwarf, and Jimmy. Would you kiss Hillary or have a beer or two with the dog man?
I'd rather have the dog man.
Yeah.
Give me the beer.
Yeah.
Give me the beer. And Broken Pine 284 says Canada has been run by a petulant child of Castro for the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's true.
That dude's a piece of shit, man.
Rumor has it he's going to resign.
I have no idea why he hasn't been dealt with in a more harsh fashion.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Canadians have really lost their balls.
Yeah, they've been neutered. Sorry. Maybe it's all the beer. It's the slow creeping sex change. It is what it is.
Well, they've been apologizing for war crimes for the past 80 years, so
yeah,
they've lost their edge. Let's see here and jump over to the back over to Odyssey here. Oh, if you're a fucking sock, Jackal's got his BS report posted. Be sure to go check that out, guys. That's a good one. Jackal's content is always good stuff.
Yeah.
Raging Sailor dropped on Rumble again. You want to fuck up the West? All China Russia needs is a 007 reference here. GoldenEye type weapon to detonate over America or Europe.
Or both.
It's true.
Yep.
There you go. All righty. That catches us all up for the super chats there. So I guess right now, Pop, we're ready for a safety briefing.
All right, everybody. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and swim because it doesn't work out. If you absolutely got to fornicate, wear a condom. Take it with you when you leave or flush it down the toilet and watch it go all the way down because child support does last 18 to 21 years and latex will save your paychecks. Rack up, pack up, and stack up because there's safety in numbers. And remember, maintain your situational awareness because if you're going to be attacked, something in your environment will have changed. It's up to you to see it. All right. Last but not least, I'm sick and tired of throwing you sons of bitches into the dirt because you're taking permanent solutions to temporary goddamn problems. Play the long game. Stay in the fight. Don't quit. And if all else fails, live at a motherfucking spite. Boom, beer me.
There you go. All righty. Battle Dwarf.
What?
Final words.
Hey, look, when you guys send all of this stuff, we really do. I mean, here it is. We pull all of it out. We read all of it. We appreciate all of it. Thank you for all of that. We've been doing this for a long time, and we're coming up on yet another Christmas. And I just want to say I'm thankful for all of you dumb bastards. No homo.
Yeah.
All righty. Lieutenant Colonel, any final words from you, sir?
Thanks a lot for having me on. It's been very entertaining. It's awesome.
Good.
All right.
Mission accomplished.
Happens. And well, you guys already know my spiel. Go check out the website, get yourself some merch, and but most of all, my final thoughts: don't piss off he who wears the yellow helmet. You may regret your decision to.
All right.
Take it easy, everybody.
Thanks.
I can't do it! I can't do it!